Morning, my dear students. So yesterday class we have discussed regarding the various theory of wages, and we have also discussed regarding the meaning of distribution. So once again I want to recall the thing what you have discussed yesterday. So the meaning of distribution is nothing but distribution of income, that is whatever person is earned, it should be distributed towards the factor of production. So what are all the factors of production? Land, labor, capital and organization. So according to this factor of production, the income earned by the particular person, that is an entrepreneur, should be distributed to each and every factor. So for example also we have discussed. So there is a rent to the landlord. For land is one of the factor where the rent should be paid to the landlord for the land. Second thing is wages to the labor. So the person who is working in your area, in your land, they have to be paid. So we have discussed regarding the labor, regarding the wages in the different theories of wages. Okay, so many persons like Ricardo, Adam Smith, okay, James Jamson, okay, so many of them have defined and also given various theories regarding the wages, and it has been criticized by other economists. And also we have discussed regarding the modern theory of wages, so etc we have discussed in the previous class. And third thing, so the wages should be paid to the laborer. Third one is the interest for the capital. The interest should be paid to for the amount which has been received as capital. And last one, the profit. The profit should be taken up by the entrepreneur, that is the organization. So what is the balance for the organization is the profit, what was earned from the business. So my dear children, I hope now you are very clear regarding the meaning of distribution. And also we have discussed various characteristics and the kinds of distribution, the personal distribution, the functional distribution, and the marginal productivity of theory of distribution under perfect competition and imperfect competition we have skipped. So altogether regarding the diagrams, the assumptions and the criticisms we will be discussing in the coming classes. Okay, so the two topics alone we have skipped. So remaining things we have been discussed, started with the wages. So here regarding the wages we have discussed the meaning, and the rent also we have discussed. So according to the Ricardian theory of rent, and which was explained with the example, okay, and the modern theory of rent which was explained by the economist. So who is the economist who defined the term modern theory? That is nothing but Ricardo. It's Ricardo. So already the theory which has been proposed by Ricardo has not become as a necessary one. So it is not necessary, it becomes as an unnecessary one. So where many of them, there is a John Robinson, who has come forward, and he is the one who given the modern theory of rent. And also we have discussed regarding the demand and supply theory of rent. So certainly we have discussed many topics in the previous class. So today we are going to continue the same thing regarding the theories of wages. So yesterday what are the theories we have discussed? Regarding the subsistence theory we have discussed, and standard of living, okay, subsistence theory of wages we have discussed, standard of living theory of wages we have discussed, wage fund theory of wages we have discussed. So and also its criticism which is given by the economist also we have discussed, and the formula which is used to derive the average wage per worker. What is the average wage per worker? Can be calculated by the formula total wage fund by number of workers. So certainly we have discussed many things in the previous class. So today we are going to continue the theories of wages with residual claimant theory of wages. So next theory is residual claimant theory of wages. So who has proposed this theory? That is nothing but F.A. Walker. It was proposed by F.A. Walker. So he is the person who proposed the residual claimant theory of wages. So this theory was proposed by the American economist. So he is the American economist F.A. Walker in 1875. Please underline the year and the author name and all, very important. The economist name and all, very important. So where he has proposed in his book Political Economy. According to this theory, wage is the residual portion after paying the remuneration of all other three factors, namely land, capital and organization. So wage is the last factor. So according to his theory, wage is a residual portion after paying the remuneration of all other three factors. So after paying all other factors, that is a rent to the landlord and interest to the capital and regarding the capital organization, okay, profit to the organization, then it should be considered. So it has been considered as a residual factor. So what is the criticism made on this theory? So the criticism made on this theory was, this theory does not explain the role of trade unions. So from the beginning we have discussed many things where the trade unions part is not considered in each and every theory part. So according to many theories, according to the what are the theories we have discussed, in many theories what we have come across, so the first criticism will be the trade unions does not explain the role of trade unions can secure higher wage for workers. And second thing is demand side of labor. The second thing is demand side of labor in the determination of wage need to be considered. So these are all the two criticisms which was being made on residual theory of wage, residual theory of a wage. So by this we are completing the theory, okay, the theories which was given on the wages. So second thing, what are the things we are going to discuss in today's classes? The interest, its meaning and its kinds, and the various theories of interest we are going to discuss today. Demand of loanable fund and supply of loanable fund. Okay, so demand of loanable fund and supply of a loanable fund we are going to discuss today. So let me start with the marginal productivity theory. So before we are starting the interest, the last theory is marginal productivity theory of wage. The application of general theory of distribution to wage fixation is the marginal productivity theory of wages. According to this theory, wages are determined by the marginal productivity of labor and equal to its at the point of equilibrium. Under perfect competition, wage is paid equal to marginal product of labor. That is wage equal to MP1. But in real world where there is imperfect competition, but in real, if you take means, if you want to take it as a real, there is only imperfect competition. There is no more any perfect competition was being followed. There is exploitation of labor and wage is less than MP1. So automatically what are all the works they are getting, they are not going to pay according to the work they work, according to the time they have taken to complete that. Okay, so if they are going for work for more hours also, they are not paid. So this is the actual situation what is going on. So they cannot able to find out, they cannot able to derive anything under the perfect competition. So whatever it is, it comes under the imperfect competition. So this is regarding the marginal productivity theory of wages. So this is called as a marginal productivity theory of wages. So second thing is the interest. Second thing is the interest. The next topic what you are going to see is the interest. So automatically the interest will be paid for a capital. Interest will be paid for the capital what you received from certain person or from any of the institution, okay, which will be helpful. Okay, the amount what you are invested to start the business is called the capital. So for that investment, so if it is a owner's fund, not at all a problem, no need to pay any of interest. Okay, but if it is a borrower fund, automatically you should go for, in spite your organization is earning profit or loss, you have to go for pay the interest. Okay, so that is the justice. Okay, so here regarding the interest, let me see what its kinds, its meanings and its theories. So let me start with the interest introduction. Generally speaking, interest is a payment made by a borrower to the lender for the money borrowed. So actually what is meant by the interest? For the money what you borrowed from the particular person who lend you money is called as a interest. So when if you are not able to pay the principal amount, at least you have to pay the interest. So whatever the amount you have received as a credit, so automatically for that you have to, that is, it is a compulsion, you have to go for pay the interest for that, right? So the meaning for the interest. Interest is a reward paid by the borrower to the lender for the use of capital. So if I am getting an amount of 1 lakh rupee from you, so I am investing that amount in the business. So with that 1 lakh rupee only I am earning more than 1 lakh rupee as a profit. So actually what I have to do, I have to go for a pay the interest for the amount what I have received from the borrowed, not received, what I have borrowed from the particular lender. So if it is a owner fund, if it is my own money, there is no need to pay for any interest. But when you borrow the money, it is a compulsion, you have to go for pay the interest for the amount what you received, what you have borrowed. So let me see, interest according to the words from the words of Marshall, interest is a price paid for the use of capital in any market. Let me see the kinds of interest. So there are two kinds of interest, one is a gross, another one is a net. So gross interest is the total interest amount received by creditor from debtor. I hope now you know the meaning for creditor and the debtor. Okay, so in the accountancy itself, you may be well known about it, and the commerce also we have discussed regarding various terms regarding the creditor and the debtor, right? So the gross interest is equal to net interest plus reward for inconvenience plus insurance against for risk of non-repayment plus payment for service of debt management. So these are all the things which comes under the gross interest. So what is called as a gross interest? It is the total interest amount received by the creditor from debtor. So if I am receiving money from you, so for the whole amount you will be charging a interest. For the whole amount you are charging the interest. That is called as a gross. That is called as a gross. So here, so what are all the things are there in the gross? So they are net interest, reward for inconvenience, insurance against risk of non-repayment, payment for service of debt management. So these are all the gross interest. So second thing is the net interest. Second thing is the net interest. So let me see what all the things are there in the net interest. Net interest is only a part of the gross interest. So automatically, so already the net interest we have there. It was there in the gross interest. Okay, so it is a part. It is a part of the gross interest. So net interest is only a part of the gross interest. It is a payment for use of capital only. It is a payment for use of capital. A good example for net interest is the interest payable for government securities. The interest payable for government securities. So if you are buying any government securities, for that what is the interest you are paying? So all that comes under the net interest. So I hope now you understand regarding the meaning of interest, regarding the various kinds of interest. Now let me move for the theories of interest. So there are around 4 theories. So regarding the theory, we got around 4 theories. What are they? So first one is the abstinence. First one is abstinence. First one is the abstinence theory or waiting theory. First one is the abstinence theory or a waiting theory. Second one is agio theory of interest or psychological theory of interest or time preference theory. So the same theory can be called by different names. So you have to be thorough with each and every names which was given by the particular economist for each and every theory. And loanable fund theory and liquidity preference theory. So let me start with the abstinence theory or waiting theory. This theory was proposed by N.W. Senior. To him, interest is the reward for abstaining from the immediate consumption of wealth. According to Senior, capital is the result of saving, but saving involves abstinence or sacrifice. It is possible to save only if one abstains from present consumption. Such abstinence from present consumption involves some suffering. Hence, it is necessary to reward the saver, that is a capitalist, to compensate for the sacrifice he has to undergo by abstaining from present consumption. Therefore, interest is the reward or compensation paid to the saver, that is a capitalist, for his abstinence or sacrifice. So simple, in simple words, if you want to put, I am sacrificing an amount to you which is to be used by me. What is a part of save? So for many years I was saving an amount. So all of a sudden you are coming and borrowing from me or asking for a certain amount. So once I am paying that amount to you, once I am giving the amount to you, so that is a sacrifice which is made by me. So without thinking of my it's my own saving, I have for many years I have saved it. So immediately if you are asking means I am giving you that amount, no. So that is called as a abstinence. So I am not thinking of anything else. So immediately I am going to pay you. So for that sacrifice you are making a reward, and that reward is called as a interest. So these are all the things which are from the words of N.W. Senior. So Marshall accepted the abstinence theory of interest, but he used the word waiting instead of abstinence. Saving implies waiting. According to him, interest is a reward for waiting. Saving involves waiting, but people do not like to wait. So, in order to make them wait and in turn to save, we have to pay them some reward. Therefore, interest is a reward paid to the saver, that is a capitalist, for his waiting. So, from second point, so first point we are talking about the sacrifice according to the words of Senior. Second thing is according to the Marshall. From the words of Marshall, he is changing the term abstinence to waiting. So automatically you have to wait for certain thing in order to enjoy something else, but people are not ready to wait for anything else. So if they are put in something else, if they are waiting for some time, if they are waiting for some occasion, automatically it should be really a joyful one, it should be really a happiest one. So there should be some meaning for waiting. Okay, automatically if they are waiting for some time, so there should be some meaning. So unnecessarily, wastely, you should not waste the time in waiting. Okay, so what is the reward for waiting here? The interest. So it is from the word of marshal. So I pay to you for 6 months, I have to wait to get back my money. So for that time period, what is the reward for me? So for waiting for that 6 months, what is the reward for me? The interest what you are going to pay for me. The interest what you are going to pay for me. So these are the things which are comes from the words of a marshal. Then criticism. According to this theory, saving involves suffering, but sufferings may not always involve suffering to some rich people. Rich people have money for which they do not get interest. Hoarding of money is to quench the thirst for liquidity. So this is a criticism which is made against the theory that is of waiting or abstinence. So second thing we are going to discuss regarding the agio theory of interest, the psychological theory of interest, or time preference theory. This theory was proposed by Jean Rey in 1834, but credit goes to Baumbavrek, an Austrian school economist who has given final shape to the theory. So first initially it was being proposed by Jean Rey, but later finally it was being given a final touch by the Austrian school economist called Baumbavrek. So the American economist Irving Fisher modified and gave a new theory, that is time preference theory. So according to this theory, people prefer present goods rather than future goods because the present goods are more certain than future goods, just as a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. The bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. There are many countries where no one knows what will happen next day. So Asian crisis of 1996 and American crisis of 2007-2008 were not predicted even for economists, including Nobel laureate. So when people save, they have to postpone their present enjoyment or satisfaction. If one postpones one's present satisfaction, one has to be paid an ague or premium. So when I am satisfying, so today your father will give you around 5 rupee or 10 rupee or 50 rupee as a pocket money. So you can go for spend it, but you are going for retaining it without spending. The reason, you are sacrificing your need. So at present you are going for a sacrificing, because after 1 week the same 50 rupees will be turned every day 50 rupees. At last on 7th day totally you will be having around 350 rupee in your hand. So for that you are aiming. So today if you want to spend means you have to spend only for that 50, but if you want to wait for another 7 more days, automatically you can go for make a purchase worth of 350 rupees. So here the same concept has been explained. So here also the same concept has been explained. So if one postpones one present satisfaction, one has to be paid an ague or premium. This premium is interest. People prefer present consumption than future consumption due to the risk of increasing and uncertainties of the present world. So today if I am having around 1 lakh rupee in my hand, I can go for spend it, but I am not going for spending it. So I am again going for saving it for the next 1 or 2 years. So after 1 or 2 years, the 1 lakh and the amount the thing for what I am sacrificed can be doubled and can be bought for around 2 lakh rupee. So for this time period, for around 2 years I am waiting, no. So the sacrifice, today I am sacrificing something which I am not going to buy for that 1 lakh rupee. For that I have to be paid some premium. So that is called as a theory of interest, that is a time preference theory or the ague theory of interest. So for that the amount, the banker, what they are paying, for example you can take the fixed deposit, recurring deposit and all. So 5 years. Once you deposited means you cannot able to take up the money, you cannot able to withdraw the money. So after 5 years only you can able to withdraw your money, that is your money. Okay, so he is not giving you any of the money, it's your money, what you worked, what you saved. But even though when you deposited that money under for 5 years as a fixed deposit, you are not supposed to withdraw the money at any cases. Even though if you are withdrawing, what will happen? You will be charged. For your money you have to pay the penalty. So for 5 years you are waiting, no, for that what is the interest? It will be doubled, it will be double. So when comparing to the savings interest, the interest what they are paying for fixed deposit will be very high. So 5 years. So around 1 lakh rupee you are saving for 5 years. Automatically at the time of maturity, you will be getting around 1 lakh 5,000 or 1 lakh 10,000 or 1 lakh 15,000. So according to the interest given by various banks. So that 15,000 rupee is the benefit what you are receiving for the 5 years for your waiting. Okay. So if you are not waiting for 5 years, if you spend that amount before 5 years itself, automatically only 1 lakh, no amount will be there in the bank. So no amount is going to increase. So automatically the 1 lakh you have to go for spend it, that's all. So since you have waited for that 5 years, the reward for that 1 lakh is around 15,000. It's around 15,000. So this was explained by the economist, by the economist, that is Irving Fisher. So next thing is the loanable fund theory. So loanable fund theory or neoclassical theory. So the loanable fund theory, also known as the neoclassical theory, was developed by Swedish economists like Wicksell, Bertil Ohlin, Wiener, Gunnar Myrdal and others. According to this theory, interest is the price paid for the use of loanable fund. The rate of interest is determined by the equilibrium between demand for and supply of loanable fund in the credit market. So let me discuss regarding the demand of loanable fund and the supply of loanable fund. So regarding the demand for loanable fund, around 3 things are there: demand for investment, demand for consumption and demand for hoarding. So the demand for loanable fund depend upon the following. The first one is the demand for investment. The most important factor responsible for loanable fund is the demand for investment. So automatically there should be some demand for investing. Bulk of the demand for loanable fund comes from business firm which borrow money for purchasing capital goods. So automatically a large amount, a bulk amount of money can be get as a loan by the very big firms in order to buy purchase of capital goods, buying of a plant and machinery or whatever it may be. Second thing is demand for consumption. The demand for loanable fund comes from individuals who borrow money for consumption purposes only. So as a consumer, you will be borrowing fund. As a consumer, we will be borrowing fund for purchase of car, for purchase of building, for purchase of house, for purchase of two-wheeler, whatever it may be. So that is called the demand for consumption. Demand for hoarding. The next demand for loanable fund comes from hoarders. Demand for hoarding, money arises because of people preferences for liquidity, idle cash balances and so on. The demand for C, that is for consumption and investment and hoarding, varies inversely with interest rate. So for each and everything, the interest rate will not remain the same. The interest rate for investment will be different, the interest rate for consumption will be different, and the interest rate for the hoarding will be different. Next, supply of loanable fund. The supply of loanable fund depend upon the following 4 sources. One is a supply, another one is a bank credit, another was a dishoarding and another was a disinvestment. Let me see regarding the saving. Loanable fund come from saving. According to this theory, savings may be of 2 types, namely savings planned by individuals are called ex ante saving. Example, LIC premium, EMI payments. So the plan which has been planned by the individual, the savings which was planned by the individuals will be called as a ex ante saving. So example is LIC premium and also the EMI payments. Then the unplanned saving. So something you may not be able to plan. So what are they? Are called exposed saving. So saving is left out after spending the exposed saving. So what are all the amount which was left with you after spending something else? That is after paying the premium, after paying the EMI, whatever it may be. Okay, that is called as a unplanned saving. Then bank credit. The bank credit is another source of loanable fund. Commercial banks create credit and supply loanable fund to the investors. So it was given by the banker. Then dishoarding. Dishoarding means bringing out the hoarded money into use, and thus it constitutes a source of supply of loanable fund. In India, after 1991, public sector undertakings are sold to private people to mobilize more fund. This is also called disinvestment. So automatically what had happened after 1991, all the public sectors which cannot able to make a profit sold their enterprises, sold their organization towards the private. So that this is called as a disinvestment, where the government is not ready to invest there, where they cannot able to earn profit, the government is not ready to invest. So what had happened, the private start to invest and they have started to take over the business. And last one is a disinvestment. Disinvestment is the opposite of investment. Please underline. Disinvestment is the opposite of investment. In other words, disinvestment means not providing sufficient fund for depreciation of equipment. It gives rise to the supply of loanable fund. All the four sources of supply of loanable fund vary directly with the interest rate. So here also, not only in the demand for loanable fund, but also for the supply of loanable fund, what you have discussed around 4 points, they also will be varying on interest rate. And last, the classical theory of interest. The equilibrium interest rate, according to classical theory, is determined by the intersection of demand and supply curves. Demand for money refers to investment, supply of money refers to savings, that is savings equal to investment. So finally, my dear students, I hope we have been discussed the various theories regarding the interest. So now I hope you have understand regarding the interest and its various theories and its various kinds what we have discussed in today's class. Next class, we will be discussing regarding the various things, that is the equilibrium point. Next class, we will be discussing regarding the equilibrium point. So my dear students, please have your textbook. So please follow the points whatever we have discussed. So what are all the examples given there, please follow it so that the content, you can able to understand the concept very easily. So please go through the chapter once again. So if you got doubt, please make note on it and we will be clarifying in the next class. Thank you.